everyone, and welcome to episode 76 of the What the Sheep podcast, where Alana and myself will be discussing and breaking down and just generally, freaking out over Critical Role Campaign 3, episodes 19 and 20. We got some not only, as Adam has already posted in the comments, episode 19 being for all of us, Ruidus believers out here. But episode 20, we finally got the heist that most of us, if not all of us, have been waiting for a very long time. We got some exciting stuff to talk about.
We can actually talk about Ruidus this episode, not feel like we're beating the dead horse.
Yes, we can actually talk about Ruidus and not worry about people leaving the podcast. Because they're so tired of it. And yes, as Eric says, Hikari was right all along. There is only one moon.
Oh my god.
There was only one moon. Hikari knew.
That's a throwback.
I saw behind the scenes.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But yes. So let's just jump right into episode 19 with all of the crazy Ruidus stuff that we got.
Word.
So I guess we can start with the big one, and that's people being Ruidus born. They were born under one of the strange, flare-ups that Ruidus has, or when weird celestial things align. Boom, Ruidus born.
Nice.
Which is super intriguing because we got a few people, a few names that were dropped that are Ruidus born. We got Brassig, who is an old king pre-Tal'Dorei. We got Lixian, who you said is one of the main.
They're an important figure in the Call of the Netherdeep, the new adventure module that just came out. Big important figure.
Yeah. We got the Raven Queen being a Ruidus born before they had ascended to become the Raven Queen.
Pretty casual.
Yeah. It's nothing crazy there. And then we had potentially the twins themselves being Ruidus born, which is why they were near about this. But then what I thought was interesting is Fern tried to find out if Elith is Ruidus born.
To see if there's some connection between the targets of this. We have so little information about these assassins so far. That's the one thing that we've got information about the attacks, but we know nothing about them. We know nothing about their kind of goals, what they're trying to do. All we know is they took the research from the Loomis twins. So clearly it's something related to their research, but I liked Fern's thinking there of trying to discern, maybe if we can figure out if Keyleth was Ruidus born, there's a common thread. But so far it's just no, there's no real major common thread. It's just they're just there, just doing these things.
But Adam does bring up a good point. I think it's clear that Imogen could probably be Ruidus born, but the idea that Keyleth is because she was a Circle of the Moon druid. That could be it. Yeah. That could be Matt could be pulling this off.
It made me think when he was talking about it how it's theorized to maybe not necessarily be a negative thing. It just means that the people are destined for something great. It made me think a lot of the Fate Touched, which is what Vax was. But then it makes you think is it similar? Could Vax maybe have been Ruidus born? But then would you think, Vex would be Ruidus born as well, on account of being twins. But it was very similar to that, I think, in terms of, predestined. There is something to yet be done with these people. But just those, the list they gave, Dressig was a mad tyrant. The Raven Queen, she's pretty intense. All the ones that they know of are pretty big names. So it's concerning. It's concerning to say the least. If Imogen is amongst those names.
Yep. It's but it's terrifying in a way. But I'm just so happy because we've been waiting so long for more information on
so long
on Ruidus and what this is all about, which is why you and I were particularly excited for them to finally get to the Heartmore Hamlet and have this conversation with Donnie. Um, but Matt is so good at just like stringing us along, keeping us
Yeah.
interested, because there was only so much that Astani like really knew.
Yeah.
Because his research wasn't really about Ruidus. His research was
Yeah.
more just in the general realm of like celestial bodies and stuff.
Planes and that sort of thing,
Um,
yeah. There was the name drop too though of Plane Rider Rin. Did you get
yes,
that?
yes, that
Yeah.
was really cool.
Ooh. Talking about the convergence and the alignment of celestial planes.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I want more of them.
I know, because we had talked about this in campaign 2,
Wow. Yeah.
that we thought Plane Rider Rin might play a bigger role in campaign 3, or
Mm.
things that Plane Rider Rin was researching would play a bigger role in campaign
Yeah.
3. And it's beginning to seem like maybe that could end up being the case.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. But then, what was the real kicker then for this episode was them being able to look at Ruidus through this really cool arcane telescope, really observe what's going on the
That's
surface.
sweet.
That was really cool, and I never really thought about it before. But when I think of like looking at the stars with like a telescope and stuff, I just think of like the modern era telescopes and stuff. I didn't even like think of like the possibility of like arcane telescopes.
It's really cool.
Like really enhance the vision of it, which is
I love that. I love them actually getting a chance to look at Ruidus because it also it gave some confirmation of Ruidus being real, I guess. Or it being
just
an
like
actual
a projection in the sky.
Yeah, but it being a planet as well, because we've theorized so many times of what Ruidus is, but the fact that it is actually a landscape up there, seemingly like there's storms, so I don't know, seemingly maybe some kind of atmosphere. I don't know stars and shit. I know Jupiter has a storm, but is it a planet? But it could.
Because Astani had mentioned that Ruidus kind of has a mind of its own. It doesn't follow.
There's definitely
rules.
some fuckery going on there for sure.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's he described it as mountains and you could see valleys and
true.
there was the storm. The storm itself could be magical or aberrant in nature. It might not indicate an atmosphere.
Yeah.
But they mentioned the possibility of going there, and he mentioned with high planar travel or teleportation magic. That didn't even click with me as a possibility that they could travel to Ruidus, and now it's all I want. Now it's all I want is for them to get teleportation to Ruidus and just walk on the surface.
I feel like that is a thread Matt would allow them to do, because I could see
Let's go.
maybe there's maybe at the Omen Archive, which is a research place that was dropped, which is where Astani was going to send the twins to learn more about Ruidus and Ruidus-born people. So it seems like after everything is said and done at Fartmore Hamlet, they're going to head over to the Omen Archive to learn more.
Yeah.
It would be interesting if there are researchers and scientists that study Ruidus and are working on some kind of a mass teleportation device to transport people there. That would be cool.
Yeah, well, look at look what the dynasty was doing with Aeol. They sent people other side of the world to explore this. It doesn't seem outside of the realm of possibilities that there are people wanting to travel to these other things. People travel to the astral sea, people travel to other planes.
Yeah, if you can travel to other planes, surely you can travel to a place within your plane. Surely.
Oh my god. Ooh, I'm seeing the chat's going off. Chat's doing some really good, making some really good comments at the moment. I saw what was it? Who said it? Oh, Chris. Chris said instead of Kiki, maybe one of the people killed in the attack was the Ruidus-born target. So it could have even been Orum's husband or something, Will.
Oh yeah, Big Moon, Little Moon.
Could have been Orum.
But Will
could have
was
been the target.
Will was Ruidus.
Fuck. Yes. But yeah, no, it's interesting to think that there could just be these people. Imagine you're just a dude, You're just a dude. You just happen to be born under Ruidus, not knowing, living your life, and suddenly assassins turn up and kill you. That would not be great.
Yeah.
It'd be less than ideal.
And so now let's talk about that really quick though. The assassins. So they stole the research off of twins when they were killed. Do we think that the assassins are tied to Ruidus, or maybe from Ruidus? Because then Imogen also did have a dream that following night where she went into the storm and saw like black silhouetted figures that I'm assuming are the assassins, or at least akin to the assassins that we're seeing.
I don't know. I like, that's a cool theory. I like the theory that perhaps those were the figures she saw, but I kind of also like this idea that maybe the assassins are like a cult or like a group that are targeting Ruidus-born folks because they are, whether or not they're just super zealous and want to get rid of them all, or because they think there's inherent danger with them.
Because then branching off of that,
Yeah.
this could be Matt's way of making these assassins a bit more like morally gray, where like their idea is that they want to kill these Ruidus-born people to stop potentially terrible things from happening, like looking at past Ruidus-born people, like maybe destruction they have caused, and like, okay, we just need to like just kill them all, which obviously is
Minority
terrible.
Report.
But like
It's
in their
Minority Report.
minds, they might be trying to do good.
Yeah. They're killing before the bad things happen.
Yeah. Which,
Pre-crime.
Yeah. Which is
Yeah,
again,
it's
terrible.
That's a totally perfect subject.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, yeah, I kind of like that idea that maybe they're not associated with Ruidus, but they're actively trying to. Oh, but I also like the theory that they are active with Ruidus. Like, oh god,
Yeah, 'cause
like there's so many possibilities because we don't know their motives.
Yes. And then my other theory is because these assassins have been described as like working like as one, like very coordinated and stuff. I guess there's two potentials. Maybe these assassins are an extension of Ruidus itself. Not really big on that one. Or they are working under a Ruidus-born, and he wants to be like, or they want to be the only Ruidus-born, and so they're targeting other ones.
Hitman.
Yeah.
Yeah, there can only be one Ruidus-born.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool too. I like that as well. Oh no. But then you've got. I do like the first one you said that you were kind of disregarding though. Like these are extensions of Ruidus themselves.
Yeah, that could be it. Yeah.
We know that the general understanding of Ruidus is that there is ill content. There is there is malice and just a general nastiness that comes from it, I guess. I don't want to bring up his name again, but like it does align with Tharizdun so much.
Yeah.
In that kind of general insanity and evil, like just evilness. Yeah. But I think we know too well that like Tharizdun is apparently locked away under Gat Shadow.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Supposedly.
But it's just supposedly. But it does, I mean, we know for a fact that Tharizdun has a hand in infiltrating other cults and other organizations and making them work for them. I'd love to see a bit of a callback to Tharizdun. Like, and I'm trying so hard not to go too hard on it, but like I love that concept so much. The idea that Ruidus is somehow like a beacon or like some kind of instrument of Ruidus's design, just constantly spewing out malcontent.
Yeah.
And I like that theory. I like that theory a lot.
Yeah, no, it could be cool, but thinking about going back to then like maybe somehow going on to Ruidus, I think would be really cool because in campaign 2, I think a really cool thing about traveling to Isocross and Aor is because it was so mysterious, so esoteric. Like, oh, like no
Yeah.
one survives going to Isocross. Like, what untold things will we discover there? So it was like really exciting, not only as a player but also as a viewer, to get to travel to that place,
Yeah.
uncover the secrets of Aor and all that stuff.
Yeah.
The best way to top that is to go to fucking
To the
Ruinous,
moon! To the moon!
a place literally no one has been before. That would be
Could
cool.
you imagine? Could you imagine if they travel there and like Imogen's farms there? Like
Oh
when
yeah,
she
it's like a weird
dreams, she's like astral projecting to
yeah,
that place. Like she's actually
yeah.
there.
Or it's like it's just like a weird
Ooh.
mirror plane. Like, well, I guess that would kind of be like the Shadowfell. Because I was like, ooh, like what if it's like a Stranger Things, like the Upside Down
Ooh,
sort of
yeah.
deal? That's more or less kind of what the Shadowfell is.
Kind
Not
of,
really,
yeah. I don't know.
but
Got to wait for season 4 to figure that out.
yeah, yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, no, that'd be so cool. I think it just like I mean, I love it when ever in Critical Role they try like as you say, they travel to someplace new or someplace different. So whether it be like the Underdark or the Feywild or the Astral Sea, or they just I love the end of campaign 1 where they're going to all the celestial planes. I love that kind of planal travel and actually visiting essentially different realities
Yeah,
because they are different spheres of existence within the canon. So yeah, that'd be really cool. I'd love to see that, and especially too because Ruidus, for all intents and purposes, we know is in the material plane. Like
yeah.
that is, we don't have reason to believe that it's a different plane. It is a celestial body within the material plane. So there's a lot to be said for it.
Yeah. And now I have two things. I guess one, and I'll my tab on the other one. Are like the other planes and realms like common knowledge? Because Istani says like they were researching like the celestial bodies and were noticing like different patterns and potential portals or gateways to like other worlds and stuff, speaking as if like that wasn't like known, that there is like the fire plane, there is like the elemental plane of water and stuff.
Yeah. That's
But
interesting. Yeah, because you think that people would recognize the fact that gods exist. It'd be hard to argue that gods don't exist in a D&D world.
Yeah.
So you think that people do recognize that gods exist and that they do have their own planes.
Yeah.
They have their spheres of influence, and they also know about the lower planes and where like demons and devils come from. So I feel like they would be known about, like they talk about hell and they talk about the abyss. But the idea that, portals are appearing to planes, that could be like, other material planes. That could be other like split realities, like Spelljammer shit. That might be what he's talking about. But I feel like at that stage, if he's that into celestial bodies, he would have some understanding of, the Feywild exists, and not the Underdark. That's real. The Shadowfell exists.
Yeah.
They have some understanding that there are other places to visit. And seemingly, from this episode, we learned someone's very well aware about the plane of water because there's a small little portal in a fountain.
Yep. We can't forget about that. Who the heck knows?
Oh my god.
And then one other thing that I wanted to bring up was what Jason said in chat. Also, shout out to Matthew Perkins. What's going on? Good to have you here. Brutus might have some pre-calamity tech on it, or be another floating city outpost.
Ooh.
What if like the twist is that Brutus isn't actually a planet, but it's like a city. It's a city, and then like it has like a atmospheric like force field around it that makes it look like a planet. But when they actually go there, it's like Cloud City from like Star Wars, where it's just floating cities, and like these flare-ups are just like energy things. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here, trying to think of like what if Brutus isn't actually a planet and it is just like a floating city or something.
That's a wild theory, and I like it a lot. That's that would be a lot. I do like the idea that there is inhabitants on Rudis. Maybe that'd be kind of a cool turn.
Yeah.
But I'm I'm with FCG, but I'm ready for like the cardboard facade to like fall down, like the flat face of Rudis to fall down, and you know it's revealed to be whatever it actually is. But I feel like if it's been observed and they've got telescopes, they've observed it being, I guess, spherical and planetoid in shape. So potentially it being actually flat and being a visage. That's not a word at all. Visage.
Visage, yeah.
Visage, yeah, like a fake image in the sky. I feel like at the very least someone would have figured it out, but it does disappear and it comes back and like fucking moon. Fuck you, moon.
But speaking of the like FCG being like a flat earther and not thinking like the moon is real and stuff, did you see on Twitter that the Flat Earth Society actually like shouted out Critical Role and Sam and like thanked them for like talking about it, like being totally serious?
But it was also wrong too. They were saying how like oh, thank you for acknowledging that the world in your D&D campaign is flat. And it's like that's not what happened at all. Like, these
it's
people,
like that society will literally reach for anything, and it totally like went over their heads that they were making fun of it, like they were laughing about it. They weren't even like seriously talking about it.
I think their MO is like any news is good news. There's no bad publicity for the Flat Earth Society, because now we're talking about it. It's
but we're talking about it because like it's so dumb.
It's ridiculous.
Like it's so ridiculous that they did that.
That being said, there is only one moon. We are one mooners here.
Oh yes,
like
of course.
We must stress that this is a one moon podcast.
Yep.
Rudis is an egg, in case you haven't caught on yet.
Yes.
But no, I'm so happy that we got so much Rudis lore. Like it was just wonderful. But then it's that we say it a lot. It's like what Matt does. It's like your lore is in another castle sort of thing. It's like here's the information. If you want more, you've got to travel somewhere else. Like fuck you, Matt.
Yep. Just give it all right now. End the whole campaign now, so I can just have it all.
Yeah,
that's what I want.
Oh my god.
But yeah, so it looks like eventually they will be heading out to Eos or the Omen Archive, but they have to pass through the Hellcatch Valley in order to get there. So we'll have quite a journey to take on.
I'm just looking at my notes, and it's indicative of how I was feeling this episode. It's like, dressing, Elixir, and Ravenqueen, fated to be important, and then in massive letters, it's just space travel.
Yeah.
Like, yes.
Literally.
I want it.
It
I
has
want
to
it
be
so
possible.
bad.
With all of the rudest stuff that Matt is focusing on, traveling there literally has to be on the table. It actually has to be. There's no way it's not.
They can go to space and find Ford's parents.
Exactly.
They can go to the moon and find Ford's parents.
Yep. We need Kirley to make another moon video after this campaign's over. I bet she's already on it, honestly.
100%, yeah.
But besides all of the rudest stuff, we did get some minor Chetney stuff.
Oh yeah.
We got another drop of Ultgar, a master toy maker. That was
getting
like
closer and closer.
Teaching another toy maker in the city some stuff. And Travis made a face.
The timing's a bit weird for that. Yeah, Travis made the face. Like that was a straight up, oh no, my backstory's here kind of face. But I can't figure out the timing of this character because we know that Ultgar was Chetney's previous employer. And we know that Chetney had a disagreement with their previous employer and in his words, fucked them up. So Chetney then left, and then do we think Ultgar then came to the Hartmore Hamlet? Or maybe they're like a roving artisan or something like that? Or was this previous to them working in Uther?
I'm thinking it's previous. I'm thinking it's probably like a while ago.
Because she did seem to like suggest that she's been there a while herself. Like, Yeah, but that's that's fun.
Yeah, and as we were saying before the stream, this isn't the first time we've heard Ultgar's name, as Travis, as Chetney did confirm that Ultgar was his previous employer.
Yeah, like episode 8 or
yeah.
something. I like Matt saying, "Does that mean Ultgar made all the marionettes we saw in episode 20?" I think that's a kind of cool assumption to make, because I mean they straight up had marionettes in the toy shop, as we know, Shimi being one of them.
Yeah.
I think that's probably a pretty fun assumption, which is then terrifying to think of, like, what does Chetney know? What could Chetney make? That's like, if you get into like enchanted artificer kind of craftsman style bullshit, making fucked up puppets. I hate marionettes. And I hate ventriloquist dummies. I hate puppets in general. Actually, now that I mention it, Muppets are okay. General puppets, no. But no. I think for episode 19, I'm trying to look at my.
For a second, I had to turn off some audio stuff. Anyway,
no,
we're good. I just had to change some stuff.
Oh, good. I'm looking at my notes to see if there's anything we've missed. I think let's talk about Imogen though. Let's talk a little bit about Imogen, because her facing down the storm was like probably one of the coolest things.
Yes.
Coolest things. I love that she is. Well, I love that she's like going for it. She's obviously still scared. Like Laura's playing Imogen still is, very scared. She doesn't understand, but she just wants to know. She just wants the answers. So stepping into the storm and it not feeling good. Like there was almost no reward, I guess, for it. Or like no obvious reward for that decision. It seems to have, like, in some cases, it made her like marks stronger or marks grow. We don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But it was fucking ballsy. I mean, it's Laura Bailey, so she's going to take those risks and do those like big gameplays.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I liked that there was, she took the risk, she went into it, and I say there's no rewards, but there was also, like, she didn't die. Like, she came back, she woke up. So now that I think she knows that that's safe, I guess in that sense, she might keep doing it.
I hope so. I feel like there's so much that can happen in this dream.
Yeah, I'm keen for that. I think it obviously feels like the strongest kind of backstory thread so far, because it's the one they're actively pursuing. So I wouldn't mind if it, eventually some point takes a back seat and we learn a bit more about the other characters. But it is definitely in the forefront at the moment, because it's what they're actively doing. And it also does seem to be like guiding their direction, because a lot of it is like, well, where are we going? Okay, well, we need to find information. Let's go do this. But I feel like a lot of the other characters, their backstory is going to just turn up along the way. Like, we might come across the nobodies at some point, or we get some information from FCG at some point.
Yeah.
Lord knows, who knows what the fuck's going on there? Like, that's just going to happen at some point, right? That's just going to, like,
time bomb. That's just
100%. And Orams is tied up with Imogen's anyway, trying to find out about these assassins and the rule of shit. Yeah, so I like how it's kind of, we're getting answers, we're exploring the backstories. I feel like a lot in campaign 2, which, they definitely had backstory aspects. I mean, I think episode 1 or episode 2, like, Bo straight away had people from her backstory turn up.
Yeah,
so
super early on.
I'm excited that we're getting a lot of information this early on, but also still keeping it nice and open-ended. You don't have all the information yet. You need to keep going.
Especially since it'll probably be a while before they're actually able to get to the Omen archive. Since, again, as we said before, they have to pass through the Hellcatch Valley, where we might get some Ashton backstory, because we know Ashton is from that region. It is an expansive region. But maybe we might get some Ashton stuff. As you said before, maybe the nobodies are, around the valley or somewhere. But who knows? I'm definitely excited, and I'm happy that this is the information that we're getting, and just enough to keep us asking questions.
Exactly.
Because before we didn't know Rudis Borns were even a thing, or we could potentially
God.
theorize, but now we can start figuring out what their connection is and who they might be.
There was that little bit that Astani said about, you could try to essentially map the Rudis flare-ups, and he mentioned, I think I might have misheard this, but I heard him talking about how some people would like either try to delay going into labor or like speed up going into labor to have their babies born under the sign. It's just kind of screaming in my head about Imogen's mum. Like, it feels like some kind of bullshit she would do. Like, time her entire pregnancy so that her daughter's born under the sign of Rudis.
Maybe that's...
trust her. She's too dodgy. Everything we know about her so far is like...
Yeah.
Till proven otherwise, mistrust.
So then what do we think? What do we think the torn pages are? Do we think the torn pages maybe were the beginnings of like mapping flare-ups maybe?
Could be, yeah. Know. It could be like, or it might have been... It might have been, like someone keeping track of recent births. Maybe even if it's in the region of Rudis born. And it might have included like her mother or included herself.
I don't know.
Cool, I like it.
But I think we're just gonna have to wait till they get to the Omen archive before we actually get any more juicy stuff. Unless they get ambushed by the assassins on their way, which could happen. In the meantime,
smart. They're like setting up watches while they sleep and that sort of thing. Makes sense. It's very good.
In the meantime, we have a bunch of other fun little backstory stuff that could happen involving Laudna, FCG, Ashton, and even some of the others.
Fun stuff with Laudna.
But moving on, we finally have the heist, where they're presented the task and the museum by Ivan Hytroga, who again is just still such a hilarious character. Absolutely love it. But that is exactly where episode 20 begins. Bells, Hells versus The Verdict is the name of the other group, which is pretty cool. That is pretty cool.
I love Hytroga. I love ineffectual showmans, I guess. Or like people that think they're hot shit but aren't really. But also don't care what other people think. So like this idea of this eccentric kind of not a thespian really, but like just showing off, like welcome to my museum, and the sparks flying out, but they're not really that impressive. I love it so much, and we've spoken before about how they're the best characters when Matt plays them, because he goes so ham in the voice and just the mannerisms and the acting. I love them. They're fucking sassy as fuck.
Yeah, it's so great. And when they finally, so with this segment talking about the heist and stuff, we'll kind of just be popcorning around.
100%,
just talking about some of our favorite moments. When they were actually like going down to the lower levels and seeing the actual museum parts and like the different things that were on display, the plaques and the dots and stuff, and just like the nature of who Yvonne is. I was getting major Mystery Shack vibes from Gravity Falls, as Grunkle Stan is like Yvonne Hytroga and stuff. I don't know if anyone else felt the same, but very much Mystery Shack tourist trap vibes from this place, where I'm sure most of the stuff, if not everything, is probably real, but maybe it's fake and just for showmanship, and some
of the stuff is like pretty big. Like there's some big name items in this place.
How beacon?
The fuck is broken. That's like
a broken beacon. Hello.
Yeah. I told you I only wrote one note for this episode because like I was just so distracted. I wrote smashed up beacon. Like what? That's a big deal. Like, but how does this random dude in the middle of the Hartmoor Hamlet have all these things? Like, where does their money come from? I want to see his taxes.
Yeah,
I
let's
want
see
to
the
know,
tax returns,
who is this fucking dude? Is this the fucking traveler? Like, what's going on? Like,
who the hell is this guy? And the diary as well. The diary of...
The fucking diary? Vespin Cholus?
Yeah, Vespin Chloris. The Archmage that freed the Betrayer Gods. That's pretty big.
Well, just the little, a little calamity here and there.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just the
that's
just Tom Riddle's
wild.
diary. That's basically all it is.
That's where would he even get that from? Like, how does that
I
even still
don't
exist?
know. Because that's then where like my idea of like this is kind of like the Mystery Shack, where the stuff here isn't actually real. It's just based on historical stuff. But
It does make you think, like, yeah, like, is this either it is real and this guy is a lot more dangerous and important than they realize because the stuff they've got is like, holy shit, like, this is wild stuff. Or they're a complete patsy and they're taken for a ride by every traveling merchant that comes through town. Like,
yeah,
they could just be like they fall for every scam sort of thing. It could just be they're terrible at making business decisions. But some of the stuff just, it makes you think that maybe
yeah,
it is
and
real.
same with the spear. People are saying the spear
Yeah.
might be a vestige, which is insane.
The spear
who the
of
heck knows?
judgment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Oh my
actually
god.
crazy all the
Because
stuff that's here.
yeah, because it was the spear of the lawbearer. Like
Yeah,
that's could
literally
be.
the lawbearer's spear. Like,
Like, oh my
there's no
god.
way this clown has all of this stuff. There's no.
This is going to be like the Happy Fun Ball. They're going to come back to this in 50 episodes time and raid it and just like
Yeah.
absolutely destroy it. I do like that. It does actually kind of make sense though, because I guess this guy was like, hey, I've got this super sophisticated security system. Like, no one can break into my museum. It does kind of make sense that they would protect it so ardently if it were real items. But I think a lot of the times too, they did like to take magic, and some of the stuff wasn't pinging. It was mainly the traps and things that were pinging.
Yeah.
So it makes you think, like, well, is it magical, or maybe the Journal of Vespin might not be a magic item, but it's pretty important. Like, it's
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to believe that all this stuff is real, but I also kind of like the idea that this guy is just a schmuck.
Yeah.
Like,
Just a yeah.
yeah.
Fake. But the heist, I think, definitely delivered. It was a lot of fun.
It was
There was a lot of different layers, and like massive props to Matt as always for like handling the different scenes that were happening all like together and making sure the timeline still matched up with the things that this group was doing, the things that the verdict was doing. All of these different layers to this heist. He played it out very, very well.
Yeah. And it wasn't necessarily easy because it
Yeah.
initially started with Chetney going off on their own, like going through
Yep.
different
Immediately
parts of the
split the
building.
party. Yep.
So that, yeah, as you say, the timings then get even trickier because it could have been a thing of, as the whole party moves together, he gave slight updates on the other team. But the fact that they were split and they were in sharing spaces with members of the other party, like, yeah, it made it quite tricky. It felt like a dungeon crawl, but without, I say without incessant death danger. But at the same time, some of those traps were like real fucked.
Yeah.
Like,
That was
there was
real rough.
definitely death to be had in this place. I mean, poor Oram getting absolutely flung at with kitchen utensils.
Oh,
that
yeah.
could kill. That would
Yep.
kill a regular person. Let's be real. That would kill a villager
Yeah.
that walks into the
Yeah.
house. And then the goddamn pit into a gelatinous cube.
Oh my god, that almost went terribly. That was so
That
bad.
would have been awful. That would have been roll a new character, Travis. Like,
Yeah, that would have been real bad. But it did leave to some angst because we had
ooh,
then
ooh,
Chetney
yeah.
slashing at Oram,
Yeah.
which is really cool. But
think
yeah,
that-
Chetney, we almost had to say goodbye to Chetney there.
That unintentional PvP is one of my favorite things in D&D, just because
Yeah.
it's I mean, PvP can be fun if you're all into it. But when it's like unintentional and kind of forced, and again, as long as everyone's into it, as long as no one's going to be too upset by it, but you know your party, you know who you're playing with. But that idea of, yeah, not knowing if you're being betrayed, not knowing like if it's safe to be around these people, it is that kind of real fun drama that
Yeah.
I love. And the way they were kind of like then speaking to Chetney afterwards, like, are you okay? Like, are you going to be good. And Ashton was even saying like, oh, I'm ready to go if this kicks off. Like, it's really a big deal. Like, they've been like, yeah, sure, Chetney's a werewolf. It's fine. But this is them now seeing for the first time how dangerous that is to actually be traveling with a werewolf. And it makes me sad for Chetney, but it makes me excited for like any potential kind of drama that comes from it, any ramifications that come from it.
And if Chetney, because then they have to worry about Chetney biting someone, and giving them the lycanthropy. So that's something
because it was very
about.
much. It was very much Chetney was, I've got it in control. Like, don't worry about it. I can control the bloodlust and everything. And then for them to suddenly, seemingly out of nowhere during a rescue mission, turn and attack like someone trying to help them, it would raise questions of, well, how much under control do you have this?
Yeah.
And we also haven't seen Chetney under a full moon yet. Like, it's
true.
It's that drama I love. It's that, as you say, that angst, that kind of conflict, I guess, would be the better term.
Yeah, inter-party conflict always.
Yeah. No, it was good. But a gelatinous cube in your house? What the hell is this dude's problem? Where did he even get that from?
Because now this does make me think that, like, what if Yvonne actually is like a traveler-esque person,
the real
like a fae person entity, just all for the chaos of what's going on.
They might be the djinn that gave away their fortune and like the earring is theirs.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. That's actually a really good theory.
Oh, God.
But I loved like the playful competitiveness between the two groups as well. With Ashton and the Goblin. But then the Qatar, I think I want to see just a sitcom episode of the Qatari and the Goblin, where they like picked the lock and they fell into the trap and they're like accusing the other. They tripped like the flower trap that Orm had set up and they're covered with flour. Yeah. I was getting Home Alone vibes, like the two criminals from Home Alone. Yeah, that's the Qatari and the Goblin. That was great.
But we haven't learned what happened to the other group that were just knocked out in that room.
Oh yeah.
They kind of just peeked in and just shut the door and I'm like, okay, nope.
Yeah. I'm guessing it's probably some like knockout like sleep gas maybe.
Hopefully. Yeah. Hopefully they're not straight up dead. That would be rough.
That's bad. That'd be bad. But speaking of gas, the hallucinating chamber was hilarious.
That was amazing. Yeah.
That was
rough too. They took some time to like break out of that.
Yeah, and the web trap that they had sprung. Yeah.
Well, it was the web trap, it was the falling trap, and then later it was the marionette kind of laughing trap. They were rolling not great to get away from these things. To the point where I think even Imogen was still laughing as I'm like walking her out of the room.
Yeah.
Like she hadn't fully been saved from it yet. It was cool. It was like, you could see that Matt had a lot of fun designing this place.
Yeah.
And also setting up the expectations of the players, because a lot of the times it was like, he's done this before, but where it's like, you open the door and nothing happens. But also,
did a lot.
allowing them to fully explore places, find out what's going on. But then even then, when they have that chance, someone's just go, I'll go and touch this thing. And it's like, will you spring the trap? Like,
yeah.
No, it's fun. It's fun. It's a good old dungeon crawl, but in true also Critical Role fashion, they have completely used up all their spells and are super damaged, and now they're fighting, what is it, clay golems, it looks like?
Yeah, I'm guessing it's
golems.
Probably something like that, yeah.
Ooh, that's
but they're like, my worry is they're going to be pretty tapped. So, like,
they are.
If the other group catches up, like, what's to stop them just from snatching the earring and just bolting?
Yeah, even if they survive this fight, which is going to be tricky. Like, they do have quite a few marshals, so they're pretty okay. But true. I think a lot of the spellcasters are close to tapped. I think Fern used 2 spells on trying to unlock the box in the span of 10 seconds. So they're pretty tapped. As you say, they could fight the clay golems, just make it through, and then the other team turns up and snatch the earring, which I kind of hope it doesn't lead to party conflict. I think it'll be cool because the other party seems really cool with great characters.
Yeah.
but I kind of hope they don't end up fighting yet.
I agree.
I think it would be good for the Bells Hells to get a win, essentially. And then maybe this is a party that they cross paths with a couple of other times in the future.
Yeah.
They're
No,
rivals
I think
from
it'll be,
Pokemon.
I think it'll be good. But it's like, as we were saying before, it seems like the other party, like most of them are knocked out and unconscious. So it would really just have the Qatari and the Goblin to worry about, and they are also probably pretty messed up at this point.
Was the Dragonborn, was she passed out in the room?
I think there was
right?
3 of them.
Yeah.
There's 3 or 4, because I think there's 5 or 6 of them in total.
Right.
I think most of them are passed out, but
yeah.
I guess we'll have to see in that regard.
Gosh.
But after, like, because the broken beacon was there, there was the journal, there was the potential vestige, the spear. I was starting to think, like, what if the Happy Fun Ball is here? Like, what if, Yusa had lost the Happy Fun Ball or something happened, and like, just the Happy Fun Ball is here. Ooh, or what if, now I'm starting to think, what if the way that they're getting these things, because there's, I don't know if it's homebrew or if it's in canon, but there's like a creature, like an interdimensional creature that steals things from bags of holding. I think this might be a homebrew that I saw.
That sounds familiar.
But there's like a creature that just will randomly take things from
Sounds familiar.
from like hidden dimensional spaces. What if Ivan Hytroga is this entity where he just yoinks stuff from bags of holding?
That sounds familiar, but I can't find.
I think it might be a homebrew. I think I saw like a TikTok or something on it. But that would be interesting.
I saw a post, and I'm not sure if it was this one, Sinvir. It was a while ago, but it was essentially like campaign 2 ended, and within the next 5 days, Yusa was trapped in the Happy Fun Ball again.
Yeah.
Or like it was something like, he was trapped on the moon. Like they instantly fucked up again, and for the past 20 years have just been locked away completely somewhere. So if the Happy Fun Ball is here, there's a good chance Yusa's inside. Like, let's be real.
Oh my god. It's so funny.
Yeah.
But I'd be down for Ivan Hytroga being something else. Cause then we gotta wonder, like, what else is here? Was it just these like 4 floors of just a couple of items, or is there more that he has? I don't know.
It's excuse me. This guy's got so much crap, but they've obviously that's the thing. They've traveled, because we saw that they've got the travel poses at the.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the paintings. Oh my god, that was so funny.
I think I'm just getting like real eccentric, rich traveler from this dude. So there is a good chance, I guess, that they have some legitimacy. Some of these items, maybe they're an old adventurer. Maybe it's like, oh god, who knows? They just seem too likable to like be evil.
But then like what does he do? Because he's like compatriots with Gianna Hexam, who is a member of the Mahan houses. So like, what does Hytroga do? Does he simply just collect stuff, and like his museum is like his only asset, or like what the heck does he do?
He's rich. His job is being rich.
He's just rich? Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish my job was being rich.
It sounds nice.
Yeah, it sounds real nice. I guess he could just be a guy looking to just have some fun, and he just collects stuff. But I think there's more to Ivan Hytroga. I want to think he's the bag man. That's gonna be my tinfoil hat theory. Ivan Hytroga is the bag man, or just some Bay entity looking to sow some chaos. Maybe he's the Nightmare King's cousin.
Oh wow.
The Daydream King.
I'm going for the Jin. I reckon it's the Jin.
Oh, I like that too. I do like that too. That is also really good. Yeah, he's an influencer. Oh my god. Ivan Hytroga, he definitely has a TikTok. 100%. Yeah.
That's fucking fantastic.
That's
I love
so
it.
good.
That's
so
canon.
good. Yep.
That's the top. That's the top theory right now. Kroger is an influencer.
Yeah. I love
It's
it. I love it.
hilarious.
Um,
Ooh.
but then like just in classic Dungeons and Dragons shenanigans, there was so much going wrong during this heist. So many.
Yeah.
They tripped like every single trap that could have been tripped.
Yeah.
Like not even close. And I just wrote down as a note, they are professionals. I think
Sure.
Gianna definitely hired the right group to break into this place. It's so funny because wasn't like the goal to like slip in making as little noise as possible, and
You would think, right?
but they're like FCG is yelling up to Chetney. They're tripping every trap. They're like battling things.
You would think if this were a like, I guess maybe from their point of view, it was very much like, try to get in, be as sneaky as possible because we want this to be as if, realistically the owner would not know that anything's happened. But for Hytroga, seemingly a madman, was just like, I want them to test all of my traps.
Yeah.
I want to see that they all work and that they are capable of stopping someone from stealing from me. Because if you think about it, they got to stages where they could have taken the spear or taken the journal
Yeah.
and like gotten out of it. It's the fact that they're going for the thing in the very back room that is now most protected because you've got to get to it. Like they could have stolen a bunch of stuff already.
Yeah.
Like,
I think Ashton's gonna steal some of that armor. That was on the leather army, the Hishari or Hirashi armor. Hishari. That's what Matt called it. So, yeah, it seems like they're gonna try to take at least a few things. I think they should definitely. Well, I think they should take everything. But for me, I think the journal they should definitely yoink. And the spear because
it's gonna end
vestige,
very, very badly if they take stuff from this place.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna be so obvious.
Oh yeah, 100%.
How do you hide that stuff? Fern did steal the salt shakers. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, they've already begun. Why stop at salt shakers? Steal a vestige.
But Adam brings up a good point about how, like, if they don't succeed here, they fail with their contract to Gianna.
Yes.
Which is not good because that's Ashton's way out. That seemingly would have to, continue paying off their debt otherwise. Like, they need this to work. They need to get this done. No magic rugs yet.
Yeah, but they're super wary of the magic rugs. Like every time they see a rug, Imogen's like, Mage Hand, I'm just gonna ruffle it a bit to see what happens. So
Yeah.
well, who knows? Maybe one of the other rooms had something like that. But I just want to know. Like, I wish, or I hope, that maybe once this is all said and done, maybe they just take a tour of the place just to see what other stuff is here, because I'm interested to see what else is here. 'Cause it was also cool. Like, 'cause the plaques were funny because of the whole ... stuff, but I like museums. Me as a person, I like museums.
Same.
I like learning about like cool historical stuff. So I want to know what other cool stuff this guy might have.
Because this is also the mirror museum, right? Like this is connected to the maze of mirrors or whatever it is. Who is this person?
It's oh my god, it just makes me like this guy so much more. It's so funny. What killed me though, going back to it, was just the paintings, the tourist paintings. That was so good. That was so funny. And
that's seemingly in like the public zone or like in the area where maybe people go to visit.
It's so funny.
Amazing.
This guy is so great. Was there anything else from? I'm looking through my notes because there was a lot that happened in this one. Oh, the this is also where I died from laughing. Sam always makes me die from laughing. But with Laudna's messages, you know how like the cast does like the creepy voices and stuff, but Sam will always like say something just totally creepy, but it's so hilarious whenever Laudna does this messages, because the rest of the cast will just say what she said, but like creepy. Sam will just say something completely different. Like this time, when people were saying creepy stuff, Sam said in a creepy voice, "I'm gonna cut your eyelids off."
Oh my
During Lana's
god.
message. And I don't know why, but I just think that's the funniest thing. Because it's just so random. It's so random.
That's horrifying.
It's just Sam being just such a troll.
Yeah.
And I don't know
Nah,
why. It was so funny.
That's always
They
fantastic.
did that. What else was there? There were so many traps. The marionette battle again was terrifying because marionettes, freaking
Yeah. Creepy.
terrible.
As fuck.
They were overall they were rolling so poorly. Like I feel like this entire time, more or less. I liked Chetney running into a bunch of the traps, like the electrical ones, and then tripping on Imogen's ball bearings that she had placed down.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
Oh
Them
my
just
God.
hearing that from the other room, like hearing, like,
Yep.
just hearing all the kerfuffle, and then just Chetney's groan, like, oh, that's
Yep,
Chetney.
yep.
We should probably go get him. Oh, man.
When they were in the Jade Lion hallway,
Yeah.
and how they were like single file walking through that hallway, and if like one of them messed up and triggered the trap, how poorly that could have gone, since they were all there. Oh boy. They were.
No, it was fun, and roles aside, it was like they did pretty okay. They made it there. They're pretty injured. It's going to be interesting to see how well they can survive this upcoming fight. But even if it's just a smash and grab sort of situation where they grab the earring and get out of there, I think it's probably the best course of action. Or try to get like the golems to break the glass, maybe, or something like that. Yeah, because I think a full-on fight might really gas them.
It would not look good. But then also the mirror above Ivana Troga's bed when they were...
It just adds to the mystery and like the wonder of this character. Like, I want to see more of them. I want to know more of this character. They're amazing.
I could have like a whole like one shot on like Yvonne Hytroga and stuff, because like what I was saying yesterday during my stream was that an episode like this kind of feels like a one-shot episode. Like this is an episode that you can show like your friends to like get into Critical Role, because it's easy to understand. It's a heist. There's gonna be a lot of chaos. There's gonna be a lot of fun classic D&D stuff. So like Yvonne Hytroga, and I think I even wrote down, because of like how Hytroga's personality and like the stuff that they had in their house, I was like, I want Yvonne Hytroga and Tyrion Darrington to have a sit down conversation. I need to see that.
I'd love for Hytroga to have like some Darrington Brigade memorabilia or something.
Oh my gosh,
it'd be amazing.
I can see it. Has like just like a rubber duck somewhere.
Oh, that'd be cool.
That would be good.
Good stuff.
But is there anything else from the heist? And I guess also previous episode as well. I think we more or less touched on everything that I wanted to bring up as far as the heist goes. And I was just having so much fun with the heist. It was just casual fun, classic D&D stuff going down. Traps, competition with the other group, some danger, cool lore stuff from items. Just all around a great time.
Yeah,
really good.
No, they were fun episodes. They were like just one for getting into the lore, and two for just getting into, as you say, classic D&D kind of gameplay. Good fun. I'm looking forward to the next one. Like I said, I hope it goes well. Obviously.
Yeah.
But that should be good.
But yes, Jenny's Rage was brought up, the whole the Chetney slashing out at people thing. Yeah, that's gonna be rough. And as I said before, potential for more angst and inter-party conflict. So, looking forward to all of that. Hopefully, Bell's Hells can come on top and beat the verdict in this competitive heist situation. But unfortunately, got to go through a couple of clay golems in order to retrieve their quarry. We'll find out next week if that'll happen. But with all of that said and done, I think we can go ahead and call this one a wrap. So, folks, as always, thank you all so much for joining us for this discussion. For those of you who are hanging out in chat, thank you so much for participating. Thank you to everyone who's going to be watching this on a YouTube upload or on Spotify or Anchor or wherever else this podcast may find itself. We really appreciate everyone's support. If you're looking to support us further, you can go ahead and follow us on Twitter. A link to that will be in the description down below. It is at WhatTheSheepPod on Twitter. You can go ahead and give us a follow. There's also a link to the Spotify playlist in the description down below, so you can go and check it out there if you want to listen to the audio version of this. But yeah, check it out. You know, we post when we're going live and all that stuff. So.
You miss out on all the hand gestures.
Oh yeah, you miss out on the hand gestures and
yeah, it's constant. It's just constant,
non-stop. So yeah, we appreciate your support. Thank you so much for being here. As always, don't forget to love each other. Spread the love to everyone you meet, everyone you see. The world needs more love in it, so make sure you're spreading it around. But most importantly, do not forget to love yourself. That is the most important thing you can do. So make sure you're taking care of yourself. Drink some water, eat some food, get plenty of rest. I'm proud of you. Thank you for being here. So, I hope everyone has an absolutely wonderful rest of your morning, day, evening, wherever you may be on this glorious earth. And we will see you all very soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
I would just like to take a second to give a huge shout out to all of my wonderful Patreon supporters. Thank you to my expositors, Leah, Olivia, Sean, Pseudonym, the DM's Den, and Hannah. Thank you to my archivists, Annika, Daniel, Elliot, Emerson, Melissa, Noel, and John. And thank you to all of my high curators, Adam, Caleb, IMI, Andrea, Dustin, Rin, and Sylvia. Thank you all so very much for showing your support. It truly does mean a lot to me. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay awesome, and I'll see you in the next one.